Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Closed Mic Podcast. This is our first kickoff episode. I'm your host, Big Bro Chris. I'm here with my guest, Joseph Garcia. Thank you for coming out and joining me on the podcast today.
Yeah, bro. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here.
First episode. Thank you for making me the first guest.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was able to come check you out at a live show. It was a Don't Tell comedy event in Venice 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And, you're hilarious. So, I decided to take a chance and throw the invite out. And I'm glad that you received it and honored it.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
Really nice for you.
You're very funny individual.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So where are you from?
I'm from Orange County.
Orange County.
Yeah, so I was raised in Santa Ana, and I started comedy down there.
Okay.
And moved up here to LA like 2 years ago.
All right, so you're actually here in LA now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect.
I live
Nice.
out there in North Hollywood, and it's pretty great, man. Can't complain. Everyone talks bad about the city. I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's fun.
I see what they're talking about when they talk about it, but it is a fun city.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. That's it.
Yeah.
I like grimy, gross opportunities.
Hell yeah. Nice. So what was the first time that you knew that you were funny?
I think it's one of those things from like when you were a kid, you know, how you're chopping it up with your homies outside, you're just spending all days outside, just at school, being a class clown. I was like one of those ADHD kids, so I was always interrupting the teacher, just being a fucking pest, just always, Joseph, can you sit down? No. Just trying to impress girls, just trying to impress the cute girls, trying to make the homies laugh, and, just being an overall issue for everybody involved. Kind of just like, learn from a young age.
And what made you actually go out on a limb and try the comedy thing out? Because telling jokes amongst your friends is one thing. Doing it on a stage where everybody's looking at you, expecting you to make them laugh, it's a completely different thing.
Sure. Honest to God, dude, I think it had been one of those things where I wanted to do it for a really long time when I was young. And I was like, if I don't do it when I'm in college or at least try, it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So, and also in college, didn't have a lot going on. You're just kind of bored. So I would just find open mics, and then I ate a dick relentlessly for like the first 2 years of comedy. I was so bad at it. Like shaking on stage. Yeah. Dude, literally just like got off. Well, I'm starting something. So it was just like an experience. But yeah, just getting up and going for it. Just Googling open mics. If you didn't do it now, you're going to regret it the whole of your life.
Right.
The rest of your life, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But then the fear is tomorrow may never come.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'd rather... people I can bomb in front of strangers and they'll forget about me tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget me wanting to do comedy in my head. So it's kind of just like a cloud looming over your head until you do it.
Yeah. Speaking on performing in front of strangers, when people that you know are in the crowd, is that a different experience? Do you find yourself a little more nervous because they do know you? They are able to kind of maybe embarrass you a little bit more because you're not just some random stranger performing in front of them.
Full 100%. Dude, that is so nice. Or even just having like homies there's like 3 tiers to it. So like watching comics that you respect watching your set, you just want to do good in front of them. Yeah. Because you're like, all right, I want you to see that I'm also like up here and I just want, you just want to impress the fucking good comics. But then when it's the regular homies that just come out and pull up to a show, it's like, I want you guys to see that I'm doing good. So see that I'm not wasting my time. And then when the family comes by, it's a whole nother level. Like I had like 6, 7 of my deals and deals just pop up at a show one time. Yeah. Just randomly, they didn't tell me nothing. I walked into a comedy club and I was like, wow, that fool looks like my Theo Mondo. And I was like, holy shit, that is my Theo Mondo. It's like him and just other 6 Mexicans just smiling, cheesing at me. I'm like, why the hell did you guys come? Yeah. Should have given me the heads up or something. But luckily I had a really good set that night. And,
nice.
I gave him a little peace of mind, be like, all right, our nephew's not wasting his time.
Right. That's good. That support is big, man. I mean,
it's huge, dude, especially like when you gotta just be so delusional. And it's such a lonely thing to pursue too, especially when you're doing the road and stuff. So the support system is kind of necessary.
What is life like on the road?
It's a lot of granola bars, a lot of water and long 8-hour car drives. Yeah. It's cool because you get to see the country and you get to like start traveling and stuff, but also there's not really much to see in the 8-hour car drive to Tucson, Arizona. Right. You know what I mean? It's kind of just flat land. After the first 30 minutes, you're like, I get it. I get what I'm going to be seeing. Yeah. But man, those cities, when you go and do comedy in like a blue-collared working town where they just like, their only thing is like, we have laughs. That's what we do on the weekend. It's so fucking great, dude. Yeah. It's so fun. Those people are so appreciative of you just coming by and telling some jokes. And they stop and talk to you for a little bit, and you get like 4 shows out of a weekend. It's a pretty good time.
Heck
I love doing the road. A lot of comics go like kind of sour about it and just being like bummed out. But I'm like, man, this is what I wanted for years.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool time.
How do clubs from, the middle of nowhere even hear about you to invite you to come and perform at their show? Or do you contact them?
Oftentimes it'll be a little bit of both.
Okay.
So sometimes people have luck doing, when you reach out to a club with no reference point, it's like cold calling. So you just send out cold emails and just be like, hey, I'm Joseph, I've done blah, blah, blah. Here's my EPK or anything that you guys need to try to see that I'm a bookable comic.
Yeah.
Or you can do the thing that I usually do, which is if you open for people, if you just go there for the weekend and they see that you have good sets, and then you have to have a good set too. You can't just like bomb 3 shows and be like, hey, can you bring me back? Because it's like, no, I don't want to bring you back. Why would I?
Right.
And yeah, so usually whenever I open for someone, I'll just wait until after all the shows if I have good sets, and I'll introduce myself. Be like, hey, if you ever need a feature or host or anything, I would love to be invited back, even if that just means coming by myself. And most of the times, if you have good stuff, they'll tell you yes, because you're already in the club and they know who you are, right?
Right.
It's better than them hiring some other dude that they don't know.
Yeah, some random voice on the other end of the phone.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What were some of your inspirations growing up? Like, was there somebody that you looked up to as hella funny, and you maybe modeled some of your own comic timing off of them?
Bro, my whole family.
Yeah.
I've said this once and I've said it a million times. If anybody knew what Mexicans were saying, if people actually knew Spanish, they'd be the funniest race of people on this planet.
Yeah.
And I refuse to hear otherwise. Because I think it's probably the same thing with black people, where it's like we just work all day, and the only thing that we have when we come home is like family and just like a good time.
Yeah.
So you just crack open a couple beers, and you guys shoot the shits for like 8 hours, and who knows you better than your family?
Right.
And who's gonna pull more punches than your family?
Yeah.
So that kind of like the thick skin is developed early. So I think a bunch of like my tios, my tias, my dad and my mom are fucking hilarious. They're like 2 of the funniest, and I hate it. I can't stand it because I think my dad's funnier than me, and I refuse to let him know that. Because he's like a young fool too. He's like in his like mid-40s. He's a young dude, and same shit with my mom. They're just funny individuals, and they crack me the fuck up.
Wow.
It's a lot of family members.
Nice. Now, the source of a lot of your material comes from your family, right? And some of your upbringing.
Yeah, those fools are crazy, dog. Yeah. A lot of it's that.
You had some family members that were kind of involved in some criminal activities and whatnot, so that gave you a lot of source for material?
Yeah, pretty much. Because like when I was younger, my mom was a crack dealer, and my dad was like an active gang member. And as a kid, you don't realize what's fucking going on.
Right.
I just thought everybody's dad got taken away from by the government for a couple months at a time. But
a little timeout.
Yeah, exactly. A little governmental timeout. And then I realized it as I got older, because I grew up I started moving around like white kids and shit, and they were just like, yeah, our dads never did any of that.
Right.
We're just like, oh, so there's probably something. I'll extort my childhood.
Yeah.
If that means I get a white person check.
Yeah.
I'll extort it for a Hulu check.
Hey,
Give it
man,
to me.
get
Give
it.
to me.
I hear you. When you first performed, your very first set, do you remember any of the material that you were talking about at that time?
Bro, yes, it was so bad.
Okay.
It was like I was doing just black and Mexican rooms, and in comedy, like those are the hardest rooms. I didn't know that for my first couple months going into it, because black and comedy, like Mexican rooms, if you're not funny, they won't give it to you. I think we kind of had this conversation.
Kinda
White audiences will give you the golf clap.
Yeah.
All right, that's cute. I see what you're doing. Black and Mexican people are like, no, that shit was not, and they'll tell you in the middle of it, they'll be like, next.
Right,
like,
right.
That fucking heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, that's hard-earned money, man, that they're spending trying to get a little alleviation from the
whole
day.
Thing about earlier, where it's like someone hired a babysitter, you can't waste their time. It's like a whole thing. But my first couple, it was just like hacky shit. It was super hacky. I'd be like, I listen to rap that's too aggressive for me to look like this. And in the car, people look at me like, why is that flat-chested Asian girl screaming? So stupid. I wouldn't dream about doing that on a stage to this day. I've retired that joke 4 or 5 years ago. I've never done it on stage since then, but it was just bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Just stuff that didn't, nothing that was personal to myself, nothing that anyone could learn about me from. That's my kind of material now. It's just peering out from the childhood. If like you can learn something from me, it's relatable. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, they say that's where the best comedy comes from. It's from vulnerability, from truth.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what no one tells you is the first couple months being vulnerable fucking sucks. No one's on your side.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not funny. Because it's like you on stage and you're just like, Mom's so crack. People are like, okay.
They're like concerned for you.
You're just like, shit, I didn't think about it.
Is there a room in town that you really, really like, that you nail it every time you're in it?
Yeah, I like the original room at the Comedy Store, which is also called the OR. Because the Comedy Store has 3 rooms. They do the main room. They go from biggest to smallest in this order. They go main room, which seats about 300-400. OR, original room, which seats about like 150 to 250. I'm really bad at guessing numbers. And then the belly room, which seats like 70 people. I've done the OR and the belly room a bunch. I'm sure my attitude will change when I finally get a chance to do the main stage, but OR, dude, it kicks ass. Because it's the Comedy Store. People, like, they know that place for specific reasons. So they go there to have fun. They know what they're getting into. And it's a pretty fun room. I always do pretty well there. Even when I start sets that don't go great, the crowds are always there by the end.
Nice.
Those, I like doing the Don't Tell shows. The Don't Tell shows pop the fuck off, dog.
Yeah, they do.
They're so good.
I've gone to a whole lot of.
Great crowds every time. The lineups are crazy. And I like the lineups in Los Angeles because they're so competitive. There's so many good comics where it's like,
for
dude,
sure.
You got to show up. Otherwise, you're going to shit the bed.
Right.
In front of all your peers.
Right.
And 150 people.
Right.
I like it. Like, did you grow up playing sports?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you play?
Football.
Yeah, see, I played football too. I played baseball. I like that shit. The competitiveness of just being like your homie, just being like, all right, you got an interception. I'm going to get the turnover.
Right.
I'm going to get the fumble.
Right.
I'm going to get this. Like, the competitiveness just helps drive you. So I love it. It gives me so much anxiety, but the rush is so fucking cool when you do good.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've done my share of open mics and.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, definitely have. And the adrenaline rush from it is like no other. Like, I think that's the best feeling in the world. Even if, I mean, full transparency, I've bombed all those mics.
Me too, dog.
But the adrenaline rush after you're done, it's a sense of exhilaration.
Right.
You know, and something about that makes me want to try it again. You know.
Where'd you go to?
Oh, let's see. I did a set at the Laugh Factory when I first moved here.
Those are brutal, man.
Yeah, it was one
great
of the,
club.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good comics.
I mean,
but
it was an open mic, so it wasn't, it wasn't like a true crowd or anything, but it was just bad, man.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
yeah. And plus, like, the thing with open mics, too, is, like, it's a lot of people doing comedy for the first time.
Exactly.
So if you get, like, 10 people doing comedy in the room, no one's going to do that great.
Yeah,
like, realistically.
exactly.
No matter how generous everybody
I
is.
imagine because everybody's in their head thinking about what they're going to talk about in their set. You know, at least that's how I am for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen this video here of the inmate that's like just doing world-class parkour all over the facility?
That's so scary, dog. Because it's like, what is he in jail for?
They let him do that in there?
And honestly, why is he training? What is he trying to get? What is he getting ready for when he gets out of jail? It's just like, Brittany. Like, oh, no, check on Brittany.
So speaking of...
hell no. That's so funny. Yeah, I got my cats fixed like the first week of having them. I'm not having any more cats. About to eat this idiot. Well, that's so funny.
Have you ever been up close and personal with like a really big animal?
Just a bear, but that's also like when you're camping and you see him like, oh my God, there's a bear over there, but nothing like face to face.
Were you scared shitless at the time?
Oh yeah. I'm not white. I don't like being in nature. Yeah, bro.
Have you ever noticed that kangaroos are just buff-ass deers?
Ripped
ass deers.
Australia makes no sense to me as a country, dude. Have you seen a kangaroo put an animal in a headlock?
Yeah,
That is
I saw a
scary
video
shit.
where it was like trying to drown a dog. The owner had to come and like rescue it and then started having a
It's
little
the size
boxing
of a
match.
Man, dude,
Yeah.
it is the size of another full-grown
And they'll
buffalo.
kick the fuck out of you.
Dude, and they can throw hooks. So yeah, their arms, like their elbows, actually bend and form to it. Why are they using their shoulders? Who taught you to jump off from the back foot?
Man.
Who also in Australia they have what are those spiders? The huntsman spiders. Those things are like the size of half of this table, literally like this big.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't. What we think about Minnie?
A cigarette break. That's that Dave Chappelle joke where he's like, I saw Mickey smoking a cigarette.
Right.
Did you know Mickey's Puerto Rican?
right. It's true. We have photo evidence now.
Bro, he needed that cigarette. He
You
had
could tell.
such a long day, dude. He was
tell.
so tired.
Poor bastard. What about bro died and they made him go to work day?
Oh, bro, could you imagine? Dude,
That they bring you back?
do you believe in ghosts?
They-
So
you
in
know,
Mexican
man.
culture, it's a big thing where they believe in like spirits and stuff. Is
Yeah.
that a big thing in Black culture?
I wouldn't say it's a huge thing, but you know, we talk about the Holy Ghost all the time.
Sure,
so
sure.
why not?
Same thing, yeah.
Bitcoin, you see my nightgown? That shit big as hell. What the fuck is that, Shotty?
No, this
What was that? I couldn't really make it out. It's a little boy talking to a little girl.
He said, that shit big as hell, shawty. What the fuck is that?
Bitcoin, you see my nightgown? That shit big as hell. What the fuck is that, Shotty?
no, this
Who are these?
Bro, that shit killed me.
Who's this
dog.
little boy's
Whose
parents?
kid is that?
Where's he learning that from?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Is there any advice that you would give a young comic that's coming up in the world about maybe how to get started or what to do if they do run into some bad sets?
Couple things. Be delusional for one. It's a shitty start to it. It's a long road, but if you make it fun, dog, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta. There's a lot of times, even when I started comedy, I had sets that were going so bad that I was like, man, I think I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
Like where it was like just the first couple of years, or I'm like, man, I'm just not funny. This is like the thing I want to do with my life, and I'm just not good at it.
Yeah.
But eventually persistence and hard work ends up paying off on the other half of it. So just being delusional, keep going at it. If you live in a place that doesn't have comedy, I used to drive like an hour 30 minutes just to do open mics, just to do shitty bar shows that I knew I wasn't capable of doing, and stuff like that. So if you, like, let's say you live in the middle of fucking Connecticut and there's nothing out there for you, you have to drive to Tennessee to do a mic. I don't know the distance or if like that even makes sense, but fucking do it, dude. If you have to move to like Los Angeles, Orange County, New York, Boston, Miami, Colorado, Houston, anywhere that has a good thriving comedy scene, do it. It's so worth it. It's so much fun. And like also, I think a huge thing in comedy too is if you have like a good set of homies, like if you have good friends that you have along with the ride, the ones that you can meet up with the diner at like at 11 p.m. at night, tag up your jokes, be like, yo, do you have anything for the sandwich joke? They'll be like, yeah, you can talk about slides. And then they give you a perspective and angle. I think a support system of friends is huge.
Yeah.
Like I got a good clique of homies. So.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, man, because I imagine you're taking a lot of bumps and bruises when you're first getting started, and so you need a support system to kind of keep your morale up, if anything else, or if nothing else, I should say.
Exactly.
Are there any contemporaries that aren't really big yet, but that you really respect their game?
Yeah, for sure, man. There's like a decent amount of them. So like my homie Laura Severse, she's funny. She's a Boston comic. She's like a blue-collared working mom from the East Coast. She's aggressive. She has that thick accent, that clam chowder accent.
Yeah.
Where you don't really know what she's saying half the time, but you just know if you don't listen, she might slug you. So she's funny. She's done a bunch of stuff. She has a bunch of accolades. My buddy Seth Kelly, he's a very funny young Indian comic. He's from Blythe, Arizona.
Okay.
Like just like the middle of nowhere.
All right.
But he was raised by like a stripper.
Oh.
And he's also Indian, so it's like, how often do you hear that shit? He
Never.
has a very interesting perspective on life. And he's a young, good-looking dude, too, so it's like, there's a room for him in television and shit.
Okay.
My boy Connor, he's Connor McSpadden. He's a very funny dude. If you look him up on YouTube, you'll see like a bunch of his YouTube stuff. It's he does the Comedy Central roasts, so he writes for a lot of those. He's done roast battle a lot. He's done naked roast on Comedy Central before.
Haven't heard of it.
Fully new. You have to watch it.
That's a thing?
It's just two white guys naked roasting. One of them's really skinny and the other one's pretty
Butt-ass naked?
butt naked.
All right.
Sensors on it, obviously.
Yeah.
Networking
That's
program.
interesting.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of balls.
Well, you're telling me. Yeah, I could not in a million years ever do that. That fool also used to write for Lights Out with David Spade. My buddy Radu Bondar, he's a Houston comic that just moved here. Opens for like Nikki Glazer, does some writing with her. Nice. He's done the Alec Baldwin roast. He's one of the funniest dudes I ever met in this world. And my homie Kiki Anderson, she's solid. She's a very funny comic. She does a lot of roast battles. So you'll see her on like the roast battle page on Instagram. Yeah. She opens for people. She's on the road a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, my group of homies is pretty freaking funny.
What's the through line between all comics that you've noticed? Is there like something that they all kind of share in common? Is it like a grittiness? Is it like a cynicism?
It's just the delusional narcissism that comes from playing the game, yeah.
The delusion
like,
is strong.
I don't even mean that in a negative like connotation either. I mean that like you kind of have to. You have to be. That's like trying to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck else? If you don't take yourself seriously, who else will?
Right.
Like you kind of have to be your own cheerleader.
Yeah.
But honestly, and kicking it with comics, that's the best thing ever too. Like being around a group of comedians who their day job is they just tell jokes all day. That is the best conversations I've ever had. Like hands down.
Yeah.
Like nothing is cooler than just getting high with the homies and then just like shooting some shit, making like the fuck you wore that shirt, dog? Are you serious? And then just ripping into someone for 30 minutes and watching everyone dogpile. Bro, it's my favorite thing ever.
Nice.
Especially when you're in the back of at the back of a show in a green room and you got to keep it down. You be like, you fucking, what did you? And then it's just so fun, dude. It's one of my favorite things.
Are there any big name comics that you really look up to?
Yeah, man, a bunch. There's like, I love New York comics. So you're talking about like OG comics or like people that are working right now that are names?
Active would be nice.
Active, for sure. Like I like Mark Norman. I like New York comics.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, Mark Norman, Sam Morril, Chris DiStefano, Tom Takara. He's in New York dude too, or he was. He's in LA now. As for LA people, there's like Lisa Traeger, who I think is very funny. I don't know if she's from here or she's from New York, but I think she's very funny. Mm-hmm. Then there's just like the classics. Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
You know, he's the fucking
Legend.
guy. He's so funny.
Legend.
Just an angry white guy, and I'm all about that shit. Let's see. I think, who's that little chinito? He has long hair. Shang Wang. He's so funny, dude. Have you ever seen him?
No, I haven't.
He's fantastic. He used to be writer for Fresh Off the Boat.
Okay.
My buddy Radu actually opened for him at Levity and Oxnard, which is improv chains. They own like all the other improvs.
Yeah.
And they handle all the representation for it. But yeah, we saw him at Oxnard. He's just a murderer. It's just stone cold. His delivery is just like, yeah, so I was at the grocery store, right? It's like just a slow draw, and he just killed it for an hour.
Nice.
I think I have a newfound respect for that man, because I hadn't heard about him prior to that.
Right.
I'd seen his Comedy Central stuff like here and there, but seeing someone in person just murder sets a whole nother precedent on the table.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, I think those are kind of my dudes right now.
Who would you say is the best of all time? Or is there a list of best of all times that you have?
Chappelle
at the very top.
Chappelle. I can't in good conscience say anybody else. I loved Richard Pryor. I loved Carlin growing up. I loved all the OG dudes, but Chappelle, no one top. Kill Him Softly. Shut up.
Classic.
Best special, hands down.
Yeah.
The baby joke.
Right.
Mickey's fucking Puerto Rican.
Yeah, man.
Such a good fucking special, man.
100%.
I watched it all the time growing up too, so probably that one.
Yeah.
Chappelle.
What do you think kind of puts him above everybody else?
He's been doing it forever, man. I think he started when he was like 16.
Yeah.
So he's like in his late. He's been doing it for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's been doing it for like 2
Just
years.
that raw experience.
Yeah, it's literally just like, you ever go like have a factory job or something? You're like, that's Ignacio. He's been here for 15 years. It's like, yeah, it looks like he's been here for 15 years.
Right.
Yeah. He knows everything down to the T.
Yeah.
So I think that also I just like his personality too, like his voice inflections, and it's just a genuineness too. He's like, he doesn't care about anything, dude.
Yeah.
He's clearly just someone's dad that if you met him in conversation, you'd be like, oh, this would be the funniest motherfucker that just to meet in passing.
Yeah, it's always interesting, like being friends with somebody who's just hilarious, and knowing like if they just had a different direction in life that took them to the stage,
Bro,
they would probably be so successful.
You never heard that saying that all the funniest people that should do stand-up don't do stand-up, and everybody that does stand-up shouldn't do stand-up?
That's funny.
That's like, it's true, man.
Interesting.
I have some really funny homies that if they knew what they were doing with like setup, punchline, tag, or even like wanted to, they'd be some of the funniest dudes on this planet.
Yeah.
But you know, what can you do?
Right. Okay, let's pivot a little bit. We're gonna watch one of your sets and break it down. I want you to give us kind of the mechanics of everything and just tell us what's going through your head.
It's crazy because, like, is anybody else's parents criminals? Anybody? Like, we're in Orange. You? Okay. What'd your parents do? Which one?
My dad.
Your dad? Your girlfriend knew, but you didn't? Okay. Both of them? You have 2 dads?
Only one got charged.
What? Oh, he has one dad.
My mom and my dad, only one got charged.
Oh, only one of them got charged. Okay, you didn't have to admit the other half of it. I don't know why. Don't you know snitches get stitches? Like, why'd you ask you about your dad? What did your dad do?
He shot people.
He shot people? That's fine. My dad got the same shit. He got hit for attempted murder. And, like, it's crazy because if you ask my mom, it's attempted because he can never commit. Like, that shit. Like, leave a woman to fucking find the soft side on that shit, dog. Crazy. What did your mom do?
She helped traffic drugs.
Okay, yeah. Dude, you were so bad at snitching. You fucking... Really, you just gotta push the envelope. What's your social security number?
So, do you do crowd work often in your sets?
I try to. I don't want to be like a crowd work comic. I do most of my stuff's just written based, but I like fucking people. I feel like genuine fun. We can make something funny happen like this in like a matter of seconds. So
Right.
I like it.
It's all
Gets
improv,
people
huh?
invested. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those dudes where like I only go up there in 12 minutes. I'm like, what are you, gay? Like I'm not. You've seen those comics online, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
So I do it sparingly.
Would you say that it's difficult to do crowd work, or is it something that's more natural for you?
I think it really just depends on the circumstance and the person, because there's sometimes where I'll start doing crowd work and I'll go in mine where it's like, all right, when I talk to you, I want you to bring up roses or something. So I'll have like a conversation with you and try to lead you to the spot.
Oh,
it's kind of like leading a horse with a sugar cube, where it's like I have an idea of where we're gonna go. I just need you to answer the way that I want you to answer.
Oh,
so I have to
nice.
find a way in my head to make you say the things that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, it's like we're talking to you so I can get to my next talking point. And if
Yeah.
something fun happens, something fun happens. If not, then the crowd just thinks I was present in the moment.
Oh, I never considered that.
Yeah, there's just like certain like I'm sure other comics have this thing too. Where I know they do. Where you have like certain tips and tricks in your pocket when you're doing crowd work that'll help you. Like when I was talking to that dude that attempted murder, that's a joke that I wrote, like that I thought of that day in the car.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I could ask this at the show and someone says yes, I can just implement it, and I just got lucky.
Nice.
So sometimes you take a shot in the dark and you hit something.
Is there something that always catches your attention in the crowd that you're going to pick on? Is it like the way people are dressing? Is it who do you like to pick on?
So I like to do crowd work from like a nice angle. I'm not just gonna try to pick on people because I wouldn't want someone doing that to me. And plus, like they paid money, so it'd be like, I paid $50 for that kid to call me a loser. And he's like 8 years younger than me. I don't want to. So I don't ever want to do that to someone, but I'll try to pull the conversation out. And I learned if you get someone talking long enough, they're gonna trip up on their words. So then you can just be like, "What did you say?" And then everyone else will be on your side because they'll be like, "Yeah, that was silly."
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't say that.
Who's a comic out there that you think doesn't get enough credit? Is there anybody that's kind of underappreciated in your mind?
I was gonna say like some of the dudes from New York that I really liked a couple years ago, but they all started blowing up, dude. Like all the comics that I like now are so mainstream. Like Mark Norman, he has over 1 million followers.
He's hilarious, man.
Dude, he's doing theaters.
And he's quick.
So fast.
His crowd work is great.
It's one of those things where he had the resume was already filled. Like he had clearly been working the job for years and just finally got the position where he wanted and was, due and not to say owed because no one's owed anything in life, but it's clear that he was able to fill out that. So I think some of the people I kick it with, honest to God, I think my friends are like the funniest people.
Nice.
Like Radu, Bondar, Connor McSpadden, Laura Severus, Seth Kelly, Kiki Anderson. I think they're pretty overlooked.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, like for the most part, it's so easy to like people that have the following that they have. They're easy. They can crush it because they can just start posting bits and people will be like, "Oh, I'll come see you in Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come see you in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'll come see you in Florida." Like So yeah.
Nice.
Also me.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to plug yourself, man. I want to ask you a number of questions, and we'll see what you come up with.
For sure.
Which Ninja Turtle would you be and why?
Which one's the aggressive one? Donatello?
Raphael.
Raphael. I'm a very aggressive person.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Road rage?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Bad?
Really bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in like a bad
Yeah.
confrontation?
A bunch. A lot.
Damn, dog.
I have
Where you're the aggressor?
a lot, yeah. Except especially because of the way I look and like my haircut and glasses, motherfuckers will try me. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Wow. Okay, be on the lookout for this dude on the road.
In a good way. like, just leave me alone.
Who's the real queen bee, Beyonce or Lil' Kim?
Who do you think?
I'm old school, bruh. I'm Lil' Kim all the way.
Why?
Because, man, she had that hood sex appeal.
Sure. Absolutely.
Beyonce's got sex appeal out of this world, but Lil' Kim, she was hood and sexy.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Beyonce's not hood. I get you.
You know what I mean?
I totally understand that. Yeah.
Like she'll rip the mic up, but also like, I don't know. She's got it on lock.
I gotta say Beyonce, dog.
Yeah.
I gotta say Beyonce.
Why is that?
She's fine as hell.
She is.
That's it. It's
She
just
is.
a Lil' Kim. I loved her. I grew up with a single mom. We used to listen to Lil' Kim all the time, dog. Right? Ain't nothing more than a Latino Lil' Kim and Ashanti and all that shit. But
Yeah.
Beyonce, for sure. Beyonce.
Okay, that's respectable.
Are you serious, dog? There's no competition there.
I respect that.
She's fine as hell.
Okay. All right. How many millions of dollars do you have to shop at Erewhon?
I was there last night. I was literally there last night before. It's ridiculous, dude. That place is
Crazy.
ridiculous.
I don't
They
understand
serve
how.
soup that's packaged this big for
Yeah.
$15.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, sure, you guys are a great establishment. If you want to give me great food, free stuff, absolutely. I will never turn it down. But
We are looking for sponsors.
please sponsor the podcast. We would love to have your basil pesto sauce
Right.
just right here next to us. But dude, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So I picked up you know how when you go to Ralph's and stuff, they have the assorted fruit diced up? It was like $25 for like a pound of watermelon and pineapple.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
basic stuff. It's like I can get a pot of pineapple and 3 watermelons for $25.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say 4.
$4 million? Yeah.
For one shopping spree.
My hat's to you if you're shopping at Erewhon. You've made it in life.
Bro, go to H Mart.
You've made it.
Go to like a little chinito place.
Is laughter really the best medicine?
No, have you ever taken morphine? Laughter is not the best medicine. I refuse to believe that, dude. You ever had hydrocodone? Oh my god. I used to drink lean when I was younger. That shit.
The stuff that they have on the market these days is
Crazy. It doesn't need to be that strong. But to answer your question, no, laughter is not the best medicine. No. Absolutely not. It helps. It doesn't,
What's your favorite comedic movie of all time?
Oh, Step Brothers. Step Brothers is one of my favorite movies, hands down. Dude.
Solid
It's so
choice.
fucking funny.
Solid choice.
That one, or I don't think anything comes close to it. When I was younger, I used to like the Seth Rogen movies, but even just for like the fact of the jokes and like the quality of it, Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna top that.
It's really fucking funny, man.
It's hilarious.
Um,
The blind Nazi? Are you serious? You're burying me alive. Yeah, I know.
The nuts on the drum set.
Yeah, the
I
nuts on
mean,
the drums.
Yeah, there's too many quotes to even like try to nail it.
Also,
but-
dude, I love the fact that he just like made nachos in the microwave. He just fucking flashed that shit in 1 minute 30 seconds. Yeah, do that to cheese.
Fuck
Fucking
yeah.
radioactive waves.
Right.
Yeah, do that. Do
Hell
that.
yeah. Who would you say is the best comedic actor of all time?
Like lead or supporting role?
I would say lead.
Lead.
Yeah.
I like Zach Galifianakis.
Okay.
I think he's a goofy.
Solid choice.
I like just chubby funny dudes.
Yeah.
Like Zach Galifianakis is fucking hilarious in The Hangover. And the stuff, I feel like he does play the same character in over. Also, Danny McBride.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Oh
hands down.
man, I love that dude.
Solo just by himself. We were just talking about this the other night. Any of the movies that he's done, like, well, it's not a movie. The show Righteous Gemstones, Eastbound
Right.
and Out.
Right.
What is it? The karate one? It's Kung Fu.
I haven't seen it.
The Foot Fist Way, something like
Was that his first movie?
Yeah, that was the first
I heard
one,
about
yeah.
it, but I haven't seen it.
Super funny dog. So funny. Yeah, Danny McBride.
Okay.
He's hilarious.
Solid choice.
Yeah, he was
Great
the
choice.
support in Pineapple Express. Stole
Yes.
the whole movie.
Yep.
He's in The End. He's just a funny dude. I would love to like drink a beer with that guy.
Yeah.
He seems like someone you could kick it with.
1000%.
Yeah.
Great choice. Have you ever written jokes for somebody or had somebody a writer for your own jokes? Is that a thing in the comedy world?
Yeah, well, so with big comedians, I've never written for like a Sandler or like a Chris Rock, but I know my friends have. Like, I know my buddy Jay Mandium has helped, has credits on Adam Sandler's last special on Netflix, and my buddy Connor helps write for like Chris Rock and stuff. And I'm not at that position where I can help any because I don't have any of those connections yet. Hopefully one day I meet like a main headliner that's like, oh, you know, young man, if you have any tags, I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
But mostly for the most part, it's like just me and my homies just kicking it like this.
Yeah.
So I get a lot out of them. Like
Yeah.
we'll sit at a diner late night with like me and my buddies Seth and Laura just did that the other night where we were sitting at a diner just like, so what are you working on this week? We had a joke and then I'd be like, well, it'd be funny if you said this, and then someone threw in a tag, and next thing you know, you have a whole 2-minute chunk
Nice.
just from hanging out at Denny's.
And that's great that you have a support system like that because I don't, this is just me kind of assuming, but I feel like comics would be more like stingy with their material or with their
sure.
talent. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
I really think it just depends on your friend group. Like I think I said this earlier, you have to have a good support system.
Yeah.
Especially to survive in such like a lonely environment and such a competitive field.
Yeah.
If you have like a group of homies that is like around the same level as you, a couple above you, a couple below you, so that way it's like a train of helping people, and it all just comes back full circle. It's kind of beautiful.
What would you say is your goal over the next, let's say long term?
Long term?
What do you want from this life of stand-up comedy? Do you want to just remain a huge sellout comedian, or do you want to go into movies, television? Do you want to what is it
got an
that's your
idea.
end goal?
So with comedy, I want to land a writing job one day. I want to do some road work. I don't want to being a road dog would be cool, but that's not my end goal. I want to become a regular at some of these LA clubs. I'm making a bunch of like connections through comedy for music and stuff because I produce beats for rappers. So I've been able to work with some pretty cool people this year.
Okay.
So I want to move into music eventually.
Hey.
I want to start doing some of that. I'm pretty fucking great at music, dude. I'm not even gonna lie and like hold it.
Yeah.
I'm really good at making fucking beats and shit. So
Nice.
I want to do that. I want to move into music. I would like to eventually drop my own album. And even if it's like a Kenny Beats project where it's like I have, like if I'm just like producing like RZA or something and I just have like a bunch of dope rappers, or even if it's something that I put out myself, it's just me. I would like to do music. And I'm so head up my ass, dude. I'm so confident in myself. I have ego dripping from every part of my body that I don't think I couldn't do something like that.
That's dope.
Because it's really nothing in this world makes you special. It's the amount of effort you put into shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that if you're just like putting out positivity and you're just a nice dude to be around, I think most of that stuff comes in return.
I would say so. I would say so for sure. I was reading a quote by, I think it was Conan O'Brien. He was like, if you're really nice, you work really hard, you have a good chance at making it.
Yeah, exactly. Like ideally, you know Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, his career. I would love to have like a career like that. Where
he's
I
all
start
over the
writing.
place.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing special about him. He's just a hard worker. He
Yeah.
just did his own shit. He took a chance on himself. Me and my friend were having this conversation last night in her car where it's like, she wanted to get a hand tattoo where it's like fortune favors the bold. It's like, if you take a chance on yourself, most of the times, if it's like a good effort and something that you're actually putting your mind to and you're putting like your resources into it,
Right.
the world will
It'll
fucking
reward you,
swat it
right?
away. Yeah.
Right.
It'll usually give you something in return.
I mean, there's inevitably going to be some resistance to it.
Sure, but that's
if you can
anything.
fight through that, it's
Yeah, bro, that's
with
anything in
anything.
life. Like
Right.
literally, that's like working, a coworker, fucking relationships, meeting someone in the street that like looked at you dirty.
Right.
It's just stone. None of their opinions and shit are going to be around in a week or so thw them.
Right.
You know, do your own thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's going to be you and your thoughts that are buried. So
Right.
why not be happy?
That's a great take on life, man. I like that. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned thus far as a stand-up comedian?
Be nice to everybody. Be nice to, you don't know the way shit plays out. Like, you don't know who's going to be who in a couple years. Be nice to everybody. Be cool. Show up on time to shit. Don't be fucking weird.
Yeah.
Just be normal.
Yeah.
Like, just don't be a weirdo at comedy clubs. If you're kicking it with comics, just be in the cut. You don't got to do too much. Just hang out, have a normal conversation. Don't give up. Just keep doing your thing. It's going to suck the first couple of years. Eventually, it will pay off. And make sure you have a support system. That's it. Just make sure you have some homies that you can run jokes by. Be around good people that make you want to be a better comic. Go watch shows that you think you can't get up on so you can, learn from the comics that are on the shows so you can do what it takes to get on the shows.
Yeah.
Just basic shit like that.
Okay.
Stuff that I wish someone would have told me when I was 21.
All right.
You know?
Well, thanks to you, some young comic will not have to endure all those hard lessons.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, baby.
Joseph Garcia, thank you so much for coming on to the Closed Mic Podcast.
So much,
Appreciate
man.
you.